Hello, welcome to Soul Spark. I'm your host, Rachel Vasquez, and you're listening to episode 0. On this pilot episode, I'll be giving you a glimpse of my story and also introduce you to the world of widowhood and grief, but from a place of empowerment. Stay tuned.
Let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you...
Hello, and welcome to Soul Spark, a podcast where we embark on the grief warrior's path. I'm Rachel Vasquez, your host, guide, and ally on this transformative journey. I'm a widow empowerment coach, grief to resilience expert, an integrative holistic practitioner, and a licensed neuroaccelerated hypnotherapist. I dedicated my life to empowering widows and all of those who are touched by loss. It's a bond that we share since I lost my husband in a traumatic accident several years ago. Here at Soul Spark, my intention is that we co-create conversation and bring value to your time by bringing you weekly episodes ranging from expert guests to help support you through your grief transitions, empowering topics by me, and also inspiring stories from fellow widows and widowers. My hope is by listening to this podcast that you will gain an opportunity to create compassionate space for healing, reflection, and growth. It's also about rediscovering your hope, purpose, and of course, your joy. So now let me jump in with a little bit more about me. Again, my name is Rachel Vasquez. I am the founder and CEO of Living Beyond Grief and a senior partner with the Wellness Universe, a Joyly ambassador for joy, and a advocate for the Modern Widows Club up here in the Pacific Northwest. So what I've learned through my journey has been a lot, and I learn more every single day. I've now dedicated my life to being a lifelong learner, as well as helping people who are maneuvering through loss open up and learn about their transitions. I love to learn about how to support people best through their journeys. So along this path, I had learned some startling statistics. And as a advocate for the Modern Widows Club, I've had a first front row seat to all of these things that happen to many of my friends and also have happened to me. So let me start with the statistic that 70% of married people, married women, will become widowed in their lifetime. Now, that is such a startling statistic, but when you take into account the fact that some people have decided to be lifelong partners without marriage, or they are newly together and maybe freshly, madly in love and losing their person, that statistic can go even higher. So that is the one thing that really surprised me when I learned how great of a number that is of people who are going to go through the single most stressful event that an adult can go through. The other thing that I found completely shocking is the fact that when you are a widow, that 70% of these widowed women are under the age of 59 years old. So here we are at the height of our careers, at, in the middle of motherhood, some of us with young children, others with, sending our kids off to college, other people that are dedicated doctors, lawyers, nurses, teachers, all in the prime of their life. And suddenly we lose our person and how we have to come back from that. The health conditions that are associated with grief, they are enormous. It is truly a women's health problem that we are facing as widowed people. So along with the grief becomes a struggle to be able to focus, the loss of your hopes and dreams, the loss of your financial stability. Everything changes in a blink of an eye, and we're left to pick up the pieces. And yet we are in the depths of our grief that are so completely overwhelming. And they cut us so deep into the very core of our essence. And we're expected to be back to work on Monday. or we're expected to get back to normal, or we are expected to hurry up and do whatever it is that other people think we should be doing. And that's just not realistic. This is a time in our life that everything has changed. Every single fundamental thing in your life has shifted, and it leaves us completely disoriented and in a feeling of disbelief, disconnect. We are not even part of this physical earth through part of this journey at the beginning. We're floating off in the ethers. We cannot figure out what to do. We're trying desperately to grasp our mind around what are the next steps that we have to do, let alone worrying about loved ones and friends trying to hold space for us by telling us what to do. And the reality of it, folks, is that there is nothing anyone can say to us at that point in time that's going to help. And that's just something that we need to understand from our own perspective, is that we are trying to figure it all out. And for those of you who are grief supporters, understanding that every single thing in the life is different, from the way that this person is grocery shopping at the store. They're no longer buying those cosmic brownies on the shelf because you thought they were disgusting, but your partner loved them. It's no longer about having two toothbrushes sitting on your sink. You're now forced to make decisions in your life that you always thought you would be making with that person. And what does that look like now? How are you going to find yourself? How are you going to get back and make yourself whole? And it seems impossible, right? It seems completely impossible. And that's why I started and I put into motion this complete life change to help others with this journey. Because there was a time that I was so low, and it'll be one of the stories that I tell in the near future, that I didn't think I was ever going to get up, that my children feared for my mental health. I feared for my life. And I wondered, what the hell kind of parent am I going to be without my husband? So these are things that swirl around, and it's just the very tip of the iceberg when you're trying to figure out who it is that you are, what it is that you're going to do next. And it doesn't matter if it was your husband that you lost, your wife that you lost, your ride or die, just whoever it was, your person in your heart. It does start off an identity crisis from within and leaving you feeling unlovable, guilty, lost, shame, a whole myriad of emotions that don't fit into that box of the 5 stages of grief. Because there's not 5 stages of grief. There's a heck of a lot more, and they certainly don't have any type of order. They float in, they float out, and it can hit you all in your first year, your 3rd year, or your 13th year. Because time is completely relative when it comes to grief. There is no time on how you grieve someone, but there is a way that we can deconstruct that grief and rebuild it with our resilience, and then create the next part of our life that will include new dreams and new purpose, and it will fill our soul up. And while we're doing that, we're bringing our partner with us, because the energy, the soul, it doesn't die. And if you're anything like me, I believe that my person is here, and he watches over my children, and I can feel his energy around me when I need to feel it. So anyways, again, I want to Thank you so much. We are going to really connect with a lot of brilliant people, and I would love to hear input on subjects that you're curious about and things that would really light you up to know more of. And you can do that by commenting below, or you can send me an email directly to me. So I look forward so much to this journey with you, and I can't wait for us to get started. So thank you so much. Goodbye.
Let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long.